Ooh, all right. So Night of Champions, it look like it's going through. They going over there to good old Saudi Arabia, and hopefully everything goes right over there. Which it will. I don't think anything would happen in that necessarily. In that case, now in this talk about changing the game if something did happen. Anyway, let's go on to more pleasant things, and let's go into the matches, which surprisingly we got a 6 match card. We don't normally get that. Normally it'd be 5 here. We have 2 women matches. Crazy. I know. We actually got a couple of title defenses. What? I know. Normally it's just like one. Man, what are they doing here? They're trying to really show out for Saudi Arabia. It is the most beautiful place in the world when you think about it, or at least told about it. Anyway, I do think for the most part, a lot of these matches are sort of a full gone conclusion of who's going to win. But I was like, but also at the same time, there could be a couple of tweaks here and there, just because I do think there could be some storylines here. So I go with the one I think could be the most intriguing is Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. I think Sami Zayn gets the win. But from that, no matter of who wins or how it goes down, I feel like you got a whole bunch of story here from what Karrion Kross has been doing. Sami Zayn going off of a path of basically going for the championship after he lost to Randy Orton. So I was like, he's gonna win because he's over in Saudi, but I was like, do he win a little dirty? Which I was like, maybe no. You can make it work with a nice guy. Now, granted, Sami Zayn is like the ultimate, like nice dude at this moment, at this point. Everybody, he's the super baby face that doesn't really do anything to really cheat at all. Like he's sort of with that with Jey Uso. So do he do a little something here that's like we would cheer because you don't want your baby face to look like a punk, but at the same time, Cross can use that of being like, oh, it felt a little good to get your hands a little dirty now, doesn't it? Like maybe like the turnbuckle get taken off. Sammy uses it even though Cross took it off. Some examples like that. But I think this will just further the story in that whole regard. We'll see if this does something to a Karrion Kross push. I don't know. Maybe it just might be more screen time. But to the next one, Jacob Fatu solo. To me, I think this one is pretty much also Jacob Fatu. I don't think at any point of having him lose or be defeated, I think it would have to really take a really big effort of like Solo, JC Mateo, them calling up Hikuleu, and all these other things in order for Solo to get the win. I do think it would be intriguing to have Solo win just because I think you could get more out of that story and them having them go about it than necessarily if Jacob wins, because it's like, okay, yeah, they're heels and they'll just keep fighting Jacob, and then maybe Jimmy going to get involved and stuff like that, and I was like, I guess you could make a storyline of like Jimmy trying to, like Jacob trying to, like, he gonna feel the warmth from Jimmy, or Jimmy maybe like Jimmy's like, hey, I know there was beef before, but hey, we still family. I was like, we've been on that side. We're on this side now. That trying to make him feel good. Not necessarily they being friends, but basically, some type of reconcile in that nature. But I think Solo, if he did bring up an extra member and he won, I think that would work. And like Jacob, kind of like you have Jacob lose while not being a loser. Get what I'm saying? But I think Jacob just gonna win. I think that's probably giving it too much thought. I think Jacob just comes out and just beats the hell out of Solo. Solo gets mad. He beats. I was like, cause he's a monster force. So, I was like, he could take out those two. Not like they got JC seeming like some type of guy. Now, the Tonga come back. Maybe that's also different. But Tonga was basically on Jacob's side. So, I don't see that really working in Solo favor either. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I think it's just going to basically just be Solo come back, running his mouth and be like, oh, come on now. We know you cheated. All that other stuff. I was like, it'll be a fun match. It will be Raquel and Rhea Ripley in a street fight. Wondering, I was like, as them doing the street fight, I guess it's kind of like, I'm like, it's one of them things where I'm like, a street fight, there's really no coming, there's nothing else after this. This to me is like really like the pinnacle, basically, like unless they, like, I don't know what they could do to up the stage from that. But Raquel and Rhea they've been, I was like, they've been beefing here lately. Their stuff goes back even further than that. So I could sort of see that they never had a proper ending to their little feud. That, hey, street fight, sure, cool. I was like, Rhea's gonna get this win. It's not really hard to fathom that at all. I was like, Roxanne, I feel like will help or whatever, but I just feel like Rhea just going to basically get the win here, regardless, because she basically takes out everybody. It'll look good. I was like, you could still have the fracture in the Judgment Day while Liv is still out. The intriguing part would be if Roxanne helped Raquel and they was able to beat Rhea Ripley, and it's like, oh, there's a tide turning Judgment Day. Everybody's a little bit more happy now. All these other things. I think that could build to an intriguing storyline if they had that. But I think that Triple H is just going to basically just have Rhea win, and that to be. I was like, I'm giving you the interesting part of what could be the of the story, but I think he's just going to go with the status quo of them all. Sort of also with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. This one's just Cody Rhodes. I don't see at all Randy Orton winning again to face Cena at SummerSlam. I was like, kind of like you get a big match with him and Cody, so it's not like you go with the marquee names in this sense. So I was like, I think it just makes sense for Cody to get it. They're just gonna whip that whole story back around. We'll see if Cody gets the win. We'll have to see how that math always goes. But that one to me, it's just easy. I don't necessarily like the finals of these two, but hey, we're here now. Yeah, so it's gonna be Cody. I'm not even gonna spend that much talking about it. Jade Cargill and Asuka, I do think is intriguing. Because I was like, I think the obvious favorite is Jade Cargill, because I think that it could be very easy that at SummerSlam she faces Tiffany Stratton, and during that portion of time, during their match, Naomi, because Naomi and Jade still got beef, that she could come out, cost Jade her championship match, get the title. I was like, with the briefcase, and where everybody could go home, and you got to proceed with caution, of course. So I think that's the route that they'll eventually go. I was like, Asuka challenging Io Sky. I do see. I was like, but I also think that could work as well, because I was like, I think that's a match and a matchup that people would love to see as well. And I was like, I think that's something that was brewing from before Damage Control, when they was in Damage Control, and even out of Asuka versus Io Sky, of two people who are very much friends with each other and have a rapport with each other. That I was like, the promos, we know the promos aren't going to really be good, just because I was like, English is not their top language, but we know that once they get into the match, it's going to be dope. But I think that I was like, but I think you can always still do that match. I think Asuka can always basically be in the spot to basically challenge, because it's like, it's her and Rhea really at this spot on the Raw roster. So I think you get Jade her big ass moment, then you get Naomi her biggest moment, and I think you just capitalize that on SummerSlam. I think that's probably the best route to go. Io and Asuka, I can see them doing something like that for Evolution too. I was like, where it's like Asuka came runner up, but hey, I was like, you still technically the number one contender. You just don't have a guaranteed spot or something like that. They'll make something up and make it work. Last but not least, CM Punk, John Cena. I think that was easy again of John Cena beating CM Punk. I just think it's all about how the presentation of the match goes, just because the John Cena matches have been here and there, a little bit funky or whatever like that. You got Cena, who passed the prime, CM Punk, who never really been athletic, also fighting at a slow pace as well too. I was like, and how much of a regular match do they give us versus how much of like the John Cena sort of like, in his moves being a little heelish, not over here, working the right way. He's working like a heel. He's trying to destroy wrestling, that whole thing. And basically the ending, he beats CM Punk. How does that go? Does Seth try to, cash in as well? I was like, I think those are the different factors. Or does Seth just shows up, distracts CM Punk in a way that John Cena wins? You know what I'm saying? I was like, 'cause they were still basically beefing before CM Punk got this whole thing with John Cena. I was like, that's the only way to go. 'Cause to me, I was like, this could be it'd be an all right match. I was like, will it be on the same way of like John Cena, and Randy Orton, or will this be kind of like how it was with Truth and Punk? I was like, Punk normally is good. I was like good at wrestling and storytelling. I was like John Cena. I was like, while I don't feel like it has fully worked, I was like tries to do it. So I was like, they'll pull out something in this match. But yeah, like I was like, I think it's a all right card. I think there's a lot of good matches. I just think that we sort of know how they're going to really go. Um, and I think the cash in to me is in the last match is the only thing I was like that can turn the tide of basically not necessarily that it's I was like I think it's gonna happen because I don't. But I was like to add some intrigue to that match. Because I was like I could also see this match being pretty mundane during it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like at this point. I think to be honest, I think that the Raquel and Rhea will probably be the most fun match of the night. And I would say Jay Cargill and Oscar. I think that one could be entertaining. I was like Jacob fought too and solo. It all depends on what happens and who gets involved. Sammy and Carrion can just really just be about the storytelling. But I think the two women matches actually is the one that's going to steal the show because all the other ones just got sort of meandering plots or old people wrestling at this point. Anyway, how do you feel about Night of Champions? Is it something that you're going to fully watch or you just going to be like, I'm going to just let it go past so I can rewind and fast forward how I need to? I don't know. The question. Anyway, peace. Out.